Hey guys, it's Kate and I hope you're having a great day. I'm back with my art journal and a few little blobs of paint on my palette. And I have a couple of silicone shaper tools. And what I'm going to do is try to make somewhat of a plaid pattern. So I'm using 3 different size flat surfaces to spread paint across the page. I've got some turquoise blue, some peachy flesh tint, and some lemon yellow. And so I'm going to start with the blue. I'm just doing thin paint lines so that it dries quickly. And it doesn't need to be perfect, but I want to get a nice, pretty clean line. Of course, that's easier said than done when you're just lifting up a little bit of paint. By the way, I really like this palette paper that I got, and this cleaned up really nice. It's actually the same sheet as I used in my last video, but I cleaned it and it worked out really nicely. Okay, so this is going to be kind of my beginning layer. All right, we are completely dry. I'm going to go to my next thick layer, and that is going to be the yellow. So I'm just going to scoop some up on my little spatula and get this on the paper. And that looks good to me. So I'm going to do one more color. Okay, while this is here, I'm going to move to my small tool now. And I'm going to add some thinner lines. And this is going to help develop the sort of plaid look. Because you have, if you're looking at plaid paper, you have your thin and thick lines kind of mixed together. So I am going to try to copy that a bit. And it's going to be a little bit of a challenge with the yellow because the yellow is really transparent. But we shouldn't have too bad of a time. All right, I am back. We are dry. We have our little plaid background. And I was kind of thinking, I knew I wanted to do this, but I was kind of thinking, I don't really know what to put over it yet. And I've been kind of feeling the birds lately, so I might just sketch in a little bird and fill that in and do some fun patterns on it. So I am going to just do the basic bird shape, and I think I'm going to sketch it in pencil first and then go over it with ink. But I'm going to have a branch kind of coming across the page like this, and then maybe my bird beak could go right about here. I think this is going to be good. So I am actually going to do this in black as a nice contrast color, and then once the black all dries, then I can go over it with a nice light color and add some pattern. So I'm going to just grab my brush and start filling it in. And I'll start with the beak. And then come up here for the head. And this is just a basic bird shape. Nothing special. I might come down a little bit deeper with that belly. Make it a nice curve. Like that. And then we'll have the end of the body here and then have our little tail kind of coming out that way right off the page. And this will be a nice surface for our pattern, and it will really stand out from that really colorful background. So we'll just fill this all in with the black, and then we'll have a clean surface for our doodles and patterns. All right, now I'm going to go in and do our branches. This is going to be the branch for our feet to be on. And then have a couple little curving branches come out to the sides. And maybe we'll even have one coming through the bird right up that way. That way it won't just be all over here. And then have it coming out from the side. I think that's a pretty good looking bird. What do you think? All right, I'm gonna let this dry again and then we'll be back to put our marks on it. All right, I'm dry and we're back, and I'm gonna start sketching in some of this stuff. First, real quick, I'm gonna grab my black painter's marker and just draw a couple little legs here real quick. And this way we can have our little bird feet on our painting. All right, now that's gonna not bother me anymore, so yay. All right, I'm gonna start with my brown. And I am just going to add some texture to these tree branches. Just a simple line, almost like it's a highlight or something on the top. Nothing too big. Maybe I'll add some little dashes here. I've been really liking the patterns lately, so I guess I'm just going to go with it. It's almost like a little bit folk arty, and it just adds something extra. I'm going to put a couple of dots in here, kind of between the little bird toes. And then I think we'll call that good. I really want to get a nice light highlight in here. And also I need to put in my little bird eye. And I'm thinking maybe right here. Now I'm going to go back over it with some black and then add another highlight in it, but that will be good for now. And then I'm going to have the wing just sweep right down, just like that. And I'm going to have our feathers here, and we'll call that good. Let's grab some gray and give this bird a belly. And that looks pretty good to me. And let's bring some blue in here. I'm going to come back in with this black and redo that nice hard black outline. And maybe we add some pink here. All right, I think my eye is dry. So I'll add the inside there. Now, looking at this, I think I would rather keep the head black. So I think I've had enough time for that to sort of dry. So I'm just going to paint over it a little bit with my lamp black. I'm just going to dip into my tube and just cover that up because I think the feathers to start a little bit further down. I like that better. So I'm just going to bring this down, and it's like it never happened. I'm also gonna bring this down a little bit too. Just like that. Easy peasy. I think I went over the outside a little bit, so I needed to re-round my head a bit. But I think I like that better with the feathers and everything starting a little bit further down. So I'm going to go back into my white and add a little highlight for the eye. And why don't I add a little beak line. I'm also going to grab that black one more time and round this out just a bit. I think that will look better instead of just sort of this line cutting across. If you're ever fixing something or do something that you just don't really care for, you can always kind of go back, and this is probably a good example of how you can kind of mess with something a little bit until you get it the way you like it. And it's easiest to do a little at a time so that you don't, overdo it or take away too much and not really realize that you're doing that. So I think I like the shape of this, and the wing is nice and rounded now. The belly is nice and rounded. I think that is good. And I think I'm done with this journal page. So let me give you a close-up. Just rinsing my brush real quick. And this is a little shiny because it's still wet, but I love how this turned out. And this was a fun one to do. I needed to get something on that plaid background. But hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you followed along. And if you did what I did, you can always go back and fix it and make it better just the way you like it. So hope you enjoyed this today. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And until next time, keep creating.